Okay, we're going to get started with the April Club Q layout. This one is called Today We Made Moments Count. Love the colors in this one. Lots of bright colors for spring. The Powder Puff chalking inks that are suggested are Fields of Green and Fall Leaves. But this kit has lots of colors, so you choose the colors that work for you. I actually, on my other Club Q kit, I used candy corn, which is a really bright orange, which I love. So I'm going to use that one again. I have Fields of Green. But in this kit, you also can use yellows, you can use pinks, you can even use a little red, like barn board or something around the edge. Lots of choices, lots of colors that you can choose from. You can also, there's no blue in this particular kit, but you can also add some blue if you want to chalk the edges with blue. You can see around the edges of the background paper, I did a little bit of green. If you want more of the pinks to pop out, you can use some pink, maybe like strawberry milkshake or bubblegum might be a little too bright, but strawberry milkshake or one like pink cheeks would be a good one. Anyway, let's get started. I just want to run a couple things by you before you start punching things out. And if you already have, no big deal. Just note some of these things that I'm going to mention. We're going to get any of the cutting stuff out of the way first. So I actually trimmed out the words. I'll move my trimmer in here in just a minute and we'll do the few cutting things that we need to do. But have this laying next to you so you can kind of use it as a guide. But I will walk you through step by step. Some of the die cut things that I want to mention. Out of your green die cut, there is a piece that is about a ½ inch, or not quite a ½ inch, I don't think, on the end here. This is a strip that we are actually going to use. So make sure you take that off and save it because we're going to use that on one of the pages. So it comes right off the end of the die cut. I want to mention that before this gets thrown away. The rest of this is garbage. I know a lot of times we say don't throw anything away because we end up digging some of the negatives from the die cuts out of the garbage because sometimes we use them. So, which leads me to the next one. The next die cut actually comes like this with the word today. We already took that out. This part we can get rid of. This part we use and this part we use. So you want to keep this negative because your yellow piece that's already pre-cut for you, that is going to go right on top of it for a photo backer. You never even see the hole in the middle there, but you want to make sure and save that piece. And then this goes right on top of it. One more thing I want to mention as you punch things out, I punched everything out except for the flowers because it is sometimes easier to see what size you need when they're all still attached in there. This piece here we are also going to use for a photo backer. So when you take that out, I know it looks kind of like a scrap, but it is actually going to be used for a photo backer. So hang on to that one. But the flowers, I did punch out one flower here, but all the flowers I am going to leave in here so that when I say grab a medium one, it's really easy to tell which one is large, medium, small. If you've already punched them out, no worries. You can dig through, find them. No biggie. So go ahead and punch things out. I just want to give you those little tips from the beginning so you don't throw away anything that you need. Making sure that everything's in the picture here. Okay, so let's do the cutting pieces. So there's not a big like cutting diagram on this one, but we always, at the beginning of our instructions, we always put the things that need to be cut. So what we need to cut is Oh, I also want to mention too, I laid all the little banner pieces together. So when we go to make the little banner, we know exactly where to go and we can grab the color we need. All of the strips that are punched out, I laid those all together so you can grab the color you need as we go. These we are actually going to cut into those strips. So those are 3/4 of an inch by 6. Each of these are 6 inch by 6 inch. So what we're going to do is take both of these and I'm going to cut them at the same time. If you want to cut them separately, that's fine. Just hit pause and then play when you're ready again. You can go at your own pace. I'm going to put these together though. And what you want to do is slide this in to 3/4 of an inch and trim. Then I move it forward to 3/4 of an inch and trim. Whoops. Move it in again. And if you have one that has the inch mark out here, sometimes that's easier. You can just do 3/4 of an inch. So you have this to lay on your cutter. 3/4 of an inch. And you just keep doing that all the way down for the green and the pink paper so that you have enough strips. And each time you just move it down to 3/4. Oh man, I cut that one small. I didn't move it into 3/4. That's all right. We'll go with it. We'll make it work. So this last one is a little big. Put that in at 3/4 and trim that down. So make sure you're at 3/4, not like I did. Take these two smaller ones. We'll figure that out as we go. Okay, so I'm going to put these all in the pile with the other strips. Oh, the only other cut we need to make, there is a strip of yellow. We are going to put that in and cut that one at 3/4 of an inch also, so it makes 2 strips at 3/4 of an inch. Right down the middle. So you have 3/4 of an inch by 12. We'll set those aside. And then I think that's all the cutting we do in this one. So you can move your trimmer out of the way. And first we will work on page 1. I'm going to move this in just a little so we have that. And as you can see on page 1, it's just those strips layered over and over and over and over all the way down. What I normally do is kind of lay these kinds of things out to make sure that I have it spaced right, and then go back in and glue them down. This one's a little tricky because they are pretty skinny strips, but I just kind of place them and then move them out of the way and make sure that I'm doing the right amount of spacing. So it starts with a yellow and it goes the same pattern all the way down. So yellow, pink, green, orange. You'll want to start about 1/4 of an inch from the top and 3/4 of an inch in. And if you want to be exact, you can measure this in. You can even put a little line here so you know where to line your pieces up. But it's about 1/2 inch from the top, 3/4 from the right. And then the next one is just barely overlapping and I go in about 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to line these up so that I know that I'm overlapping about right. So just barely, like not even 1/4 of an inch overlapping. And you just go back and forth, back and forth. And feel free to do your own thing also. If you don't want this many strips on there, go ahead and take some off. The way I'm doing it is just make sure that these are lined up. Each one of these little points, it should be the same all the way across there. And I'm not gluing them down right now. I'm just making sure they're all spaced so I can, when I actually glue them down, I will be looking at those so that I know that it's straight all the way across. This next yellow one, if you look at the picture, it actually goes in a little bit, overlaps and goes in a little bit. But really, you do your own design. And this one goes back out all the way to in line with these. And if you want to just glue these as you go and peel them up and move them if you need to later, you just put a little bit of tacky glue on each piece. Oops, oh, I needed the green. And really nobody, if you do get this mixed up a little bit, no one's gonna notice because there's so many colors in here that it's not gonna be that noticeable. And if you want to just glue them down as you go, that saves you time. You don't have to pick them back up and put adhesive on them. Totally up to you. That's normally what I would do, but right now I'm just showing you how you can like space them and how much room to give. I kind of forget the order as I go here. And it's supposed to look a little bit messy, so no worries if you are kind of out of line or you overlap a little too much. There's no exact way that you have to do these. I'm not the boss of you, I promise. You can make it your own for sure. And if there's a color that you don't particularly like in here, you can take that one out too. Green. And since I messed up one of mine, I might actually space mine out just a little bit further. I think you have extra in here anyway. So that if you do overlap a little more, you have some to kind of finish it out. If you spread it out, you might have a few left over, and that's fine too. So it looks like even though I cut one of mine wrong, I'm still gonna have plenty. And I could stop right there because on the picture it stops with the yellow. But since I have room, I'm gonna add one more pink to the bottom. Okay, so go ahead and if that's how you like it, what I would do, if you haven't glued it down yet, if you didn't glue it down as you go, what I would do is just set this next page next to it, move the piece over here to about where you had it, and then start overlapping here and gluing them down. And then this can turn into your page one. Okay, so if you need to hit pause and get that going, you can get started again whenever you're ready. The next piece that we're going to work on is actually layering your flowers. And what I'm going to do is do this flower first because these ones we know exactly which sizes we need, and that will get that one out of the way so that we don't have so many to choose from for all of these that kind of get mixed up in there. So we're going to do this flower first. We need 1 large peach colored flower, 1 large yellow, and 1 small pink. So large orange, large yellow, small pink. And I'll show you a trick if you haven't watched the video for the other layout yet. This is a trick that I like to use to kind of beef up the page and layer your flowers and give it some more depth and dimension. I put the corner of my scissors on each petal, and this works with any kind of flower really. It just adds some pop to your page. And I crease those right in the middle. The smaller ones are a little harder to do, so it's up to you if you want to do the middle one. And it looks a little messy when you're first doing it, but when they layer all together, it looks really nice and really adds some depth to your page. These ones are a little harder. Up to you if you want to do it. I'll just do this with one in the video so that you know what I'm doing, and you can choose to do it to the others if you would like. And it doesn't have to be exactly in the middle. Does not have to be perfect because you won't be able to tell. Okay, once those are done, I'm gonna put that flower together. I put a little adhesive in the center of each circle. Actually, I will put it there too, because then I'll just put my button on there. Stack these up. And on that particular flower, we need a yellow button. So find your little embellishment bag. Your yellow button goes right in the middle. And then I am going to use my orange candy corn. And you can chalk these up as you go if you want to. But I layer them and I just do them all at the same time. And if you like that look, you can do it that way too with whatever color you would like. The pink's a little hard to get to. So when I glue flowers down, I never glue the petals so that I can tuck things underneath. I can move the petals if I want to. You really only need to do adhesive in the center here when you go to glue those down. So I really like this orange. I'm gonna make it pop a little bit and add a little extra to it. Some of the other oranges that would look really nice that are not quite as bright as this one would be fall leaves, sunset, terracotta. Terracotta is kind of this orangey color. Lots of choices for that one. Okay, so we have the flower done for page 2. This will make it easier to choose the flowers for page 1. So you can see we're going to get them lined up here. We need a large yellow, a large pink, and a large orange. So looking at this, we take one of the large yellow, lay it out here, large pink, and large orange. And this is why I leave it in, because you can easily tell which is the large. Okay, and then the next we would need medium orange, medium yellow, and another large yellow, or let's see, yeah, another large yellow. Let me see if this works right here. Yep, so medium orange on top of here. medium yellow for that next one. And then a large yellow for that last one. I'm not quite sure why we did it that way, but that must have been just what we had, and it still looks good even though these are a little different size. Once these get all together, we'll scoot them together and they'll fit on the page. Okay, so the last ones, the small yellow goes on the first one. The next size, or the last pink flower, goes on that one. And then a small orange on the last one. And if you get those mixed up and they kind of go different ways or different colors on there, no worries at all. Nobody will know the difference. So this first one I'm going to glue it together, put a little in the middle. And if you want to fold the petals, you can. Put these on. The next one. My ATG gun screeches every time I use it. Maybe I need to oil it. Okay. Turn this so you can see mostly the yellow. And the last one. And then go ahead and chalk these up. And if you want to pause and before you get these all together, you can chalk them up individually if you want. But I like that it saves time to put them all together and just do them all together. Up a little bit. Oops, that's in the middle. So we're not adhering these to the page yet because we need to get some other things in place. Okay, so in your kit you had some pre-cut papers. I'm trying to grab them here. In those pre-cut papers you have these sizes. For page 1 we want to use both of these, and we have another little piece this size that is going to go under those. So this piece here, it's going to go into just about halfway into your 6-inch stripes. Almost halfway. And remember, I don't have mine glued down, so they're a little wonky. Okay, and then on top of that, we have and chalk these up as you go. We have a yellow photo backer, and that's going to go about a ½ inch down from the top of your white piece. And then this one overlaps it and sticks out a little further towards the end of your pieces here. You also have a banner that goes under each flower. So we need a yellow, an orange, and a green. Let's get these lined up a little bit. Your flower goes about a ½ inch from the bottom. And this is why I never glue down the petals, so that I can tuck things underneath. This goes right in the middle. That one right above it. And then if you add a little adhesive to the backs of your banners, those just get tucked in just behind your flowers. And your flowers need the buttons, so you have a green atop, orange at the bottom, yellow in the middle, you also have some green flourishes. And feel free to move these around however they work for you. I'm going by what we did on the instructions, but you feel free to put them wherever. I use a glue pin and I just run a little bit. It doesn't have to be glued all the way down because these are pretty intricate small pieces. Maybe just down the center here and a little bit on the end. And then it gets tucked underneath your flower petal. And again on this one, a little glue pin down the main part of it. That one gets tucked up there. And page 1 is done. If you want to chalk the edges at the outside of your paper, you can, or the background paper. And then we're going to move to page 2. Make sure this is in the camera for you. Hard to fit them both in. I'm going to actually take one out of here. So this is what one looks like completely finished. I'm going to take that out of the way so that we can just work on 2. Move this in here. There we go. Okay, so we have our flower already done. We are going to put together our photo mat, which this piece from your die cut. We need to put a little adhesive around here. This goes on top of that. And actually, you know what? I would put adhesive on the outside edge because this doesn't quite line up on the inside, so you don't want to put glue at the very edge of here. I would put it on the outside edge, or even just on the corners. That's probably really all it needs. Then your yellow 5x7. And then once you have a picture behind here, your frame goes on here as well. So that's for your photo for this page. We are going to take the rest of the banners, chalk those up as you would like, and we are going to line those up. They go almost to the bottom of the page. Maybe a ½ inch from the bottom. And this is another thing that I like to get lined up. So the orange one goes up, it overlaps the pink, but it goes up a little further than the pink one. The green comes back down in the center of the page. The yellow is next, and it gets overlapped and moves up a little bit. And then the pink. So see, I was a little off here, so what I like to do is not adhere it down. Scoot these all into place. So I know where they need to be. And then I go back in and adhere them down. And what I do, just so I know that they stay in the place that I want them, I will start with this end, and I'm only going to put adhesive kind of on this side so that I can still slide that one back under. So I have adhesive here, and I can move this one out, put adhesive in the middle part, just in the middle, slide that under there. The green, I'll slide out of there, put it in the middle. And again, I kind of use the diamonds to line it up so that I can see that it's on the same path. It's straight, just in the middle here. And tuck it under the green. And then the last pink. Okay. Once you have those on there, you have 2 yellow strips. One is going to go right across the top here, just barely so it covers all of them. Glue that down. Oh gosh, need to get a new ATG gun, it sounds like. So right at the top of the pink, just barely overlapping, and all the way across. Okay, the next thing we can do is we are going to put a little glue right on your flower, just in the middle. That's all you really need. And it is going to go just above your green banner. Next, we have our, there's a pink piece and a yellow piece that was pre-cut for you. And these are going to go ahead and chalk it up. This goes about 1/2 inch in from the right side. And this is, and it's just barely overlapping here, this yellow strip. I'm going to chalk it up a little bit so you can see where the end of this is. And I wouldn't adhere this down yet. We're just going to get it in place. So you can see this overlaps about 1/4 inch. Overlaps that. I love this orange on the pink. It brightens it up. This one is going to slightly overlap as well. And these can be used for photo mats, or you can use them for journaling pieces. You could put 2 or 3 smaller pictures coming down here. You could put 1 tall picture. We have our, oh, so actually before we put this on, what we're going to do is we're going to take this last yellow strip. The green goes right in the center of that green strip that came off of your die cut. So go ahead and put some adhesive on your green strip. It goes right in the center. Of that yellow piece. And the reason we laid these on here first, so we knew where they were going to go, is so that we could kind of have a guide to put this. So I tuck it under just slightly so that you can see where you want this to go. And we are going to adhere this one down. So you can see I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there is little dots that go across kind of in a straight line. I'm going to use those so that I know that I have it straight across. I'm going to move that up just a little bit. And then I'm going to turn this over, get a little adhesive on it. And then I'm going to slide this right back in and line it up with that all the way across. Okay, now if you wanted to, you can glue down your photo mats. Here's the one we layered together earlier, and you'll want to put a picture in behind this frame. This gets tucked down in there. And you can move this in as far as you want to go. It just kind of depends on what kind of picture you have in there. You don't want to cover up too much of your picture. So you can move it down a little further if you want to. Move it to the left, depending on what kind of pictures you have in there. Okay, and then at the top we have, and with this I trimmed this off, but there's still a little bit of white that's showing because I didn't trim it quite exactly right. All you do, instead of trying to trim that little piece off, just chalk it up. You'll never see that white. And then we are going to figure out exactly how far in we need to put this by putting our word today up there so we know what kind of space it's going to take. So with this, you want to use just a glue pin and just do some little dots. It doesn't have to be completely covered in adhesive, just a few dots. Lay it on there. Same with the T. Move that around where you want it. And there you have page 2. The last little thing is your flourishes that come out the side. Tuck this in, and you don't really see the end of this, so that if you need to shorten it, I just tear that off and tuck it in. That's why we just use a little dot of glue in the middle so that we have space to kind of move things in behind there. So there you have it. You have the Today We Made Moments Count kit. If you have pictures in your kit, we would love to see your finished product on our Facebook page. If you could post it to our Facebook page, we love to see the kits after they have photos put in them. Or if you, and especially if you did something unique and change things up, move things around, did your own thing, we'd love to see that too. Thanks for joining us, and thank you so much for being a Club Q member. We hope to see you next time. Thanks so much.